Good evening, my lovely knob twisters. We are here on the set of ABXY Live. So in this little vid, I'm now going to break down how I've created this performance and share with you the coolest stuff I think about it. So let's get into it. Let's start off with, and you will have seen a little bit of this on YouTube obviously, but let's do like a in-depth walkthrough of the gear and how it's all hooked up just to start. So first things first, I've got the push 2, as usual, the heart of the performance, and it's got all the stems and all the channels set up for the live looping. So it's a little bit different. It's not a straight up live looping from beginning to end. We've got a lot of stems involved, and then we're doing a combination of like this stem DJing and live looping. So I've got actually 9 scenes with this performance and quite a lot of tracks, 16 tracks, because I've got my looping selection here, and then I've got stems here, and then looping channels on the push in the middle. So there's push, more on that in a minute. We have got the MIDI Fighter Twister, which I'll go through the cool mappings, and the Akai LPT8. And all of these 3 MIDI controllers are going into my Amazon Basics USB hub and then straight into the laptop. So now let's come over to the microphone. We've got the Shure, and I always forget what this thing's called, but it's the dynamic microphone. It's the posh new dynamic one. And this mic is going now into the Boss VE500. And then what we've got here is a stereo out of the Boss VE500. This is so fun, guys. This is what's doing like the vocal slicer effect. And it's really clever. What's happening is these two devices are talking to each other via MIDI. So they're not even connected, but to do with internal mappings on the VE500, we've gone in and we've assigned CC numbers to that effect. And then now, obviously this CC number is mapped here. So it means that I can use the MIDI Fighter Twister to control the VE500. And what I mean is they're not like joined together. They are sort of connected via the computer. There is a 5-pin MIDI here, which is actually coming out of the back of my interface. So I'm using the Fireface UC MIDI ports to let these two talk to each other basically. So that's the VE500. This is great. It's got loads of distortion. It's got reverb. It's got so many cool effects. When I was playing live on tour, I was doing the same thing. I had a 4-man shift effect, and I was with another one of the knob twisters the other night, Leo. Shout out to Leo. And he was using the VE500 and a vocoder effect. That was really, really cool. Then we've got here the Lumi keys, Roly. I've had this for ages, but haven't actually used it. And this is, let me just get a key. Yeah, this is my vocoder. I play the notes and then I can sing. But what the Roly actually is just a MIDI controller. I'm using the Antares Harmony engine, and I've set it to listen to the chord, and then obviously it vocodes. So any chord I play, it will vocode. And you can set the level of how much vocoder and how much voice and all of that balance. So that's quite cool. And then, you know, I've all been raving about this Roland SEO2 synth. It's just so nice. I'll show you some of the presets that I used on tour. I've got the user bank selected here, and number 8 was my favourite for And I Breathe. And then in this song, I'm using number 4. Cut off's a lot lower. But yeah, really just I love this thing. I'm in love, basically. And then I'm still using the King Korg, and this is really cool. It's just being connected. Both of these synths are being connected straight into the Fireface UC, and then everything is running through Ableton. I'm monitoring every single sound through Ableton, and that means then I can loop everything up as and when I want to. So I think that's pretty much all the gear. And then let me show you now then like how the Ableton set kind of works a little bit more. So what I've actually got then is I've just got little stems. So I've got like my kick drum here. Little drum loop here. And then I'm just going to loop up some MIDI then with a Juno, which I've sampled. So all of this is just controlled by push. And then doing a little breakdown scene. And then so what I'm going to do, I'm going to trigger my verse scene with my Juno chords and my drum track. And the beef up track is just the drums, which sounds pretty cool. There's my beef up track. So that's obviously the stuff that I can't actually do live. And then when I trigger this verse, I've got my chords there. I'm going to filter them up. I've got my samples. I'm going to sing and also do effects. So questioning ourselves, who built the system, filter up the synth, rituals, the norms, and do some effects with the VE500. Then we'll do some little vocoder moments, la 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 la. And then this is really hard because I'm recording this via Ableton, so I can't press that button on push, otherwise I stop recording this talk through. So, and then when it comes to the chorus, I'm going to drop the scene, and there's going to be a few more pads and things in the beef up track. But then what I'm going to do is midway through the chorus, I'm going to loop up the bass. I'm going to trigger the tom sample, and then I'm going to loop up the Korg. So I'll show you that in action now. And I've been doing this a lot on tour, actually. It's a good way then if I want to play that instrument and I want to play that instrument, but I want to sing at the same time, how I can actually keep them all going. So I'll demonstrate that for you now. You'll hear the beef up track. All this love affects you, lose more effect. All this love for the knob twisters. Here we go. All this love we ever paid. So then I'm going to start this loop. It's on a fixed length, so it will loop back by itself. Tom fill. Korg loop, but I obviously can't sing and play that. It's too difficult. So that's kind of the idea of how it's actually functioning, how I'm performing it. And then I've got other sections there where the beef up track is just a really simple loop. And this is really cool to play live on stage. We've got the far behind, far behind, far behind, far behind. And then I got my bass loop to loop up. And then I can bring in my stems one by one, bring in my kick, bring in my chops, more chops. Then I got my high pass filter. And then final scene is a really good transition. And then I can trigger the bass, trigger more tom fills. So that's kind of how it's all set up. And it's the classic. This is kind of similar to like the Paper Tiger performance. There's definitely way too much time and effort gone into the production, and there's no way I could recreate this live on the spot. And I think this is like a good compromise. in terms of like how to perform it without doing like a straight up full on live looping performance. And then other things that are super fun, the portamento here on the cork, turn on the button. And then I've got a massive reverb send here. And then on this channel, there's an auto filter where I've mapped not just the frequency, but also the rate of LFO. And obviously you see me in the performance then like looping that up. So that is something I've been loving doing as well when I've been playing out live in front of a crowd. It's like a really cool thing to do because it's not the microphone and it's not looping up sort of the audience. It's like direct input. You can do like loads of cool effects with it. So just to show you as well, everything's being recorded when I'm performing back into arrangement view. So you can see right now as I'm talking, it's all being recorded into arrangement window. And then when I edit this video, I am going to just tidy it up and then, you know, sync it all up. So there we have it. There's a little more in-depth breakdown of how I've created the performance. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope this is interesting. If you've got any questions, just fire away and I will try and answer them the best I can. Yes, so it's midnight on Friday night. I'm going to go and edit this down and see you on the other side. Mwah.